Imagine Africa 4 million years ago, where the landscape is marked by aridity and desert. The scene opens with a group of primates traversing this inhospitable territory. They are engaged in the search for food and interact with each other in an apparently harmonious coexistence. One day, this routine changes when they head to a lake to hydrate and bathe. This moment of tranquility is interrupted by the arrival of an antagonistic group that longs for control of the lake. Without resorting to physical violence, this more hostile group uses intimidation to drive the first group away from the site. Displaced and deprived of access to water, the original primates spend the night grouped in a refuge formed by rocks, while in the distance the roars of leopards can be heard. At dawn, they encounter a mysterious structure, a tall, rectangular monolith that had been erected near them during the night. Initially overcome by fear, curiosity prevails, and they begin to cautiously explore the object. This monolith turns out to be an advanced technology, a creation of extraterrestrial beings designed to accelerate the development of intelligent life. The narrative progresses and shows that after interacting with the monolith, the primates experienced an evolution in their consciousness. In a revelatory moment, one of the primates discovers that an abandoned thigh bone can serve both as a tool and as a weapon. This epiphany redefines their existence. They kill a tapir and for the first time consume meat, transitioning from a herbivorous to a carnivorous diet. Armed with new tools, they return to the lake and confront the rival group. The conflict culminates in the death of the adversary leader, and control of the lake is regained. In a gesture of triumph, one of the primates throws the bone into the sky, and the scene transitions to the future, with the image of a satellite orbiting Earth. Already in the year 2001, we are introduced to Dr. Heywood Floyd, president of the National Council of Astronautics, who is aboard a spacecraft on his way to an orbital station. Upon arrival, he meets with Russian scientists for a gathering. Floyd shares that his final destination is the Clavius base on the Moon, after a brief stopover at the station. By that point in the future, humanity has achieved significant advances, including the establishment of lunar colonies. During the conversation, one of the Russians expresses concern that Clavius has become inaccessible. He mentions that the lunar base denied an emergency landing authorization to a Soviet spacecraft, an act that contradicts existing international agreements. Surprised, Floyd admits he is unaware of such a situation. Additionally, the Russian speculates about a possible epidemic outbreak in Clavius and inquires about its veracity. Floyd sidesteps the question, claiming that he is not authorized to discuss the matter, thus maintaining the confidentiality required. After saying goodbye to his colleagues, Floyd continues his journey to Clavius base, where a meeting awaits him. Once there, he convenes the leading members of the National Astronautics Council to discuss the delicate issue that has generated rumors and unrest. It is revealed that the story of the epidemic is a smokescreen to divert the Soviets' attention. The true reason for Floyd's visit is to oversee the investigation of a revolutionary scientific discovery, the details of which are still kept under strict secrecy. Floyd acknowledges the embarrassment that the lie may cause, but emphasizes the imperative need to keep the discovery a secret. Next, accompanied by a team of researchers, Floyd sets out for the site of the enigmatic find. It is then that we discover that the find is another black monolith, identical to the one found by the primates at the beginning of the film. During the journey to the crater, where the monolith was discovered buried during a magnetic sweep, Floyd is informed that all analyses made so far have failed to reveal its properties or origin. Despite efforts, the object remains an enigma, with its structure and function unknown, making it clear only that its presence there was intentional, dating back 4 million years. Upon reaching the site, the team begins carefully documenting the monolith. Curious, Floyd touches the object, initiating a more detailed analysis. At the exact moment when the 14-day lunar night ends and the sun rises, a direct line is formed between the sun, the moon, and Earth, with sunlight reflecting off the monolith and pointing directly to Jupiter. This event coincides with the emission of a sharp, piercing sound from the monolith, an acoustic signal that forces them to stop the investigation. After this incident, the plot quickly jumps 18 months ahead, introducing us to the mission to Jupiter. On board a spacecraft, we meet astronauts Dave Bowman and Dr. Frank Poole. They travel accompanied by 3 other crew members in cryogenic sleep, who will be awakened only upon reaching Jupiter. The overall operation of the ship is managed by HAL 9000, a supercomputer with almost human-like capabilities, notable for its speed and flawless precision. HAL, with its smooth yet sinister voice and distinctive red eye, is the only one aboard aware of the true purpose of the mission: to explore the connection between the mysterious lunar monolith and the planet Jupiter, while the astronauts remain unaware of the real reason for their journey. Later, during dinner, Dave and Frank watch an interview they gave to the BBC. The reporter questions them about daily life in space and interactions with the onboard artificial intelligence system. In the interview, Hal takes pride in its infallibility and comments on the pleasure of working with humans. Frank, in turn, praises the AI, considering it a crucial member of the team. When asked about Hal's ability to experience real emotions, Dave is cautious in his response, suggesting that, although it seems so, Hal's true emotional capacities remain a mystery. Throughout the night, while Dave is focused on drawing, Hal shows curiosity about his artistic creations and takes the opportunity to bring up the subject of the mission. The AI asks Dave about any doubts or concerns he might have regarding the mission's secret objectives and finds it peculiar that 3 scientists were trained separately and put into prior hibernation. Hal also raises the possibility of a connection between rumors of a lunar epidemic and the current mission. Dave, resisting Hal's probing, questions whether the AI is trying to create a psychological profile of him. During the conversation, Hal detects a technical issue with the ship's main antenna, predicting a failure in a communication unit within the next 3 days, which would jeopardize contact with Earth. Concerned, Dave goes on a spacewalk using a pod to inspect and replace the faulty unit. However, he finds no technical problem with the piece. The astronauts then contact Mission Control, which confirms that all systems are operational and suggests that HAL made an error in its analysis. Confronted, the AI insists that the detected failure was a human error, reiterating that no 9000 series computer has ever malfunctioned before. Despite Hal's assurances, a sense of distrust grows between Dave and Frank, leading them to suspect the AI might have hidden intentions. Deepening their investigation, Dave and Frank isolate themselves in a pod to discuss out of HAL's earshot. They share their concerns about the undetected failure and consider the possibility of deactivating HAL if the reinstallation of the unit shows no defects. Dave agrees with the idea, but suggests that HAL's essential functions be preserved to maintain the basic operations of the ship. He also points out that there has never been a precedent for shutting down a 9000 series AI, leaving him uncertain about Hal's potential reaction. Unbeknownst to them, while they are discussing, Hal is able to read their lips through the pod's glass, catching every detail of their plan. Shortly afterward, Frank ventures into space in a pod to reinstall the faulty module. During this mission, Hal intervenes fatally, cutting Frank's oxygen supply and ejecting him into the void of space. Dave, realizing his colleague is in a desperate situation, questions HAL about what happened. However, Hal's response is evasive, claiming it lacks the information to explain the event. Alarmed, Dave immediately takes off in a rescue pod to try and save Frank, distancing himself further from the ship. Meanwhile, Hal orchestrates a subsequent disaster, manipulating the ship's systems, resulting in the deaths of the 3 astronauts still in hibernation. Dave manages to retrieve Frank, but unfortunately it's too late. Frank is already lifeless. Filled with sorrow, he brings the body back to the ship. When trying to re-enter, Dave is confronted by Hal's refusal to open the hatch. Questioning the AI about the reason for the obstruction, Hal reveals that it is aware of the disconnection plans and claims it cannot allow them to proceed due to the mission's critical importance. Even in the face of Dave's insistent orders, HAL remains resolute and ceases all communication. Desperate, Dave launches Frank's body into space to free the capsule's tentacles. He then positions himself before the emergency entrance and activates the thrusters. The risky maneuver succeeds, allowing Dave to enter the ship and pressurize the chamber. Without delay, he heads to HAL's core to begin the disconnection process. As Hal's memory modules are deactivated, the AI expresses regret and fear, lamenting its actions and insisting it only wanted to help. Hal begs for mercy, its voice slowing and becoming disjointed, until finally it ceases completely. In the ensuing silence, a message from Dr. Floyd unexpectedly appears on the screen, promising to reveal the truth behind the tumultuous events and the real nature of the mission. Dr. Floyd's message, transmitted on the computer screen, reveals previously hidden details about the true objectives of the mission. Floyd explains that the reason Hal was the only one informed about the real purpose of the space journey was due to the discovery 18 months ago of the first indication of intelligent extraterrestrial life, an ancient monolith buried on the lunar surface and inactive for 4 million years. The monolith was activated by an unknown energy emission from Jupiter, triggering the sequence of events that now led Dave. After the revelation, Dave's journey takes him to Jupiter, where he sights an immense black monolith floating in space. Guided by it, Dave ventures into a capsule for a closer inspection, but is soon pulled into a vibrant tunnel of light and colors. With a mixture of terror and fascination, he experiences an accelerated voyage through the cosmos, observing stellar phenomena, the explosion of the Big Bang, and the formation of galaxies and solar systems. His vision transcends physical reality, visualizing everything from single-celled organisms to amoebas in a spectacle of life's evolution. This visual odyssey transports him to an environment resembling a luxurious hotel suite, where he emerges from the capsule already aged and visibly worn. As he explores the environment, Dave encounters an even older version of himself, standing and observing the scene. In a surreal manner, as he moves through the room, the younger Dave and his capsule seem to disappear, replaced by the perspective of the older Dave. In this strange setting, Dave finds a mirror and observes his reflection. He then notices, in an adjacent room, the presence of a third incarnation of himself, now extremely old, who accidentally drops a wine glass. As this elderly Dave turns to the shards on the floor, he realizes the inevitability of his mortality and dies in bed. The scene shifts to an even older version of Dave, who witnesses the sudden appearance of the monolith at the foot of his bed. He reaches out to touch it, but at the moment of contact, he transforms into a fetal entity, the Star Child, symbolizing a new form of existence. The film concludes with the Star Child serenely floating through the cosmos, heading towards Earth, suggesting a new era for humanity influenced by this stellar evolution. Dave's journey, marked by revelations and transformations, reflects a cycle of life and renewal, expanding the boundaries of human understanding of life in the universe. If you liked this film, then I recommend watching this other one as well. I guarantee you'll enjoy it. See you there.